Well, if I go back in my build log here, yeah, the last time I built flaps was in June of 2022. It's January of 2026. What's that? 3.5 years, almost 3 years, 7 months, 8 months, whatever. I'm building flaps again. I think I may have mentioned this because the flaps that I built are complete. They're painted, primed on the outside, and they've got laser cut spars and laser cut nose ribs, which are primary structure in the flaps because those nose ribs attach to these brackets, and these brackets are what hold the damn flap to the wing. So we're going to build new. Van supplied the parts. This was a long time ago. Just now getting back to rebuilding them. So hopefully I can do it in less time. I think if I add all this up, it was only about 20 hours or so. I bet I can get it done in 15. Let's give it a try.
And we're off. Wait a minute. Am I really going to voice this over a second time? I could put on music, I guess, but then I got to find music with licensing and all that sort of thing. This is actually a really fun video to put together in DaVinci Resolve because I had to use a bunch of techniques that I'd not used before, like the timer on the bottom of the screen. That, to the best of my ability, that's actually synced up to actual time of hours and minutes. Due to like frame rate and math and whatnot, I was sort of just playing around with everything to make sure that was pretty damn close, because I know the frame rate in which like the high speed records, and I know the frame rate which regular records, and obviously I've sped it up a lot. This is, I think, another 5 times faster. No, not 5 times faster. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. We're gonna race through these. I can guarantee you. Well, I know what it took to finish them, but the second time building something is so much faster, and if you can shave 30 to 40% off your work because the things you got to do to not screw it up. I can see why people would build 2, 3, 4, 8 of these airplanes if they really had a lot of time and money and they just like doing it. It's honestly a lot of fun. Everybody should try it sometime.
Midway through the first one, partially with the second one, I actually did add up the hours on the first set of flaps. It was 38, not 20. It's okay. I still think we can beat 20 on this build.
You'll be close, but you won't quite beat 20. It's all right. Again, it's a lot of fun. Easy peasy work. Apparently it was cold in the basement. Oh yeah, it is cold in there. I got the space heater going. Had my hood on. Wow. Oh yeah, Alan, if you're watching, I'm racing you doing these trailing edges right now. Super easy with the drill press. See that? That was like a minute. And I mean real-time minute, not sped up minute. That's just a joke we got going on in Slack for a while. Like one of the guys out in California, Alan, has built a 14. He and another guy are now building a 10, and he was actually doing trailing edge wedges on the flaps for the 10 right around the same time as I was redoing these flaps, so it was pretty funny. Speaking of time, looking at the date code on these were done in February of 26, it looks like. Of course, we're releasing this video August, beginning of August. I'm catching up. There's not a ton of video left to catch up before the engine gets here. A lot of little things to do, minor projects or redoing things like in this case. So just get them all out of the way. Let's see. there wasn't. I think, you know, it's funny. There's things that you screw up and you're going to screw them up no matter what. And you just saw me pull the drill out and drill out rivets. You still do that occasionally. It just happens. You got to deal with it.
We miss riveting. What am I doing? Well, as you go, and I know that the plans say you wait until you do this bottom section before you make sure this one and that one are level, but in my experience from building flaps the first time through, as soon as you start doing this front seam, it actually starts to tighten up and it gets harder to adjust these rear ones. So what I'm doing is, as I'm doing every couple of rivets, I'm just going to do a few along the front ones, and we'll come back to the rear ones later. Or sorry, we're going to do a few across the front, and then we're going to fill in the front. But as I'm doing a few across the front, what I'm doing is I'm just sort of checking with my digital level. It's like, okay, this one's at 2 degrees. Okay, as long as this one's right at 2 degrees or we're really close to it, 1.9, we're good. Because if it's 0.1 off here, that's okay. If it's like 3 degrees off here, that's not great. So we're gonna get it as close as possible as I'm doing a few sparse rivets along the front. That way we have to do less adjustment as we do this aft line, which is going to be a lot tougher. There's going to be a lot more muscle involved in adjusting it then. So I want to do it early.
I also discovered that DaVinci Resolve has a voiceover feature where it just records audio in here, so I don't have to use a separate program to record audio and then bring the files in. What have I been doing this whole time? I've been like hurting myself when these tools make it super easy for you to do what you're going to do. Anyway, about the flap, what I just featured in real time is exactly what I mean by do what you know, or little tips that are going to save you time, right? If I knew, like, I struggled getting the brackets even on the first set of flaps, and in this time, because I knew that, I evened them up as much as I could beforehand when they were easier to move than when they were more difficult to move. And that made the work later on, once you're doing the lower portion, super easy. It just took a couple of whacks with a hammer, and that's that. So, all right, look at this. Here comes the first one. We're doing the trailing edge. 15 hours in, and it's done. On to the second one. I can tell you, we're going to be pretty close here. Because once you get that structure initially built, do the match drilling down the trailing edge to make it a nice flush with the bottom skin, and or rather 90 degrees off of the bottom skin, perpendicular to that. That's what you got to do for the trailing edge. Apparently I left the camera on there too long. Drill out your flat brackets, or rather countersink your flat brackets through your double flush rivets. Dimple your spar, deburr your skin, dimple your skin, throw your skin into the dimpler, the big jaws dimpler to do the middle rivets. Yep, there that is. Oh yeah, do all the things. That's actually the damn cat. We got kittens last year, and they just love to be around. And I'm actually surprised that one. He was actually sticking around while I was using the rivet gun. It's pretty loud, and cats, as most people know, don't necessarily like to be startled, but he was just like chilling. He really liked hanging out. So, silly things, whatever. They're just, I don't know, animals. All right. So let's see here. We're doing the upper overlay skin, so I was adjusting the rear or the flat brackets, the attachment brackets behind while I was doing that. Then it's up these ribs. And I did actually have a couple of problems riveting some of the rivets on those ribs, and I don't remember what exactly it was, but I definitely remember having some trouble riveting the top skin to the ribs. I probably had to drill out like 10 rivets doing those, at least between the two flaps, and I don't know what it was. It just kind of it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. Here we are, a little over 20 hours. It's all right. 38 from before, a little over 20 now. A pretty solid improvement. I should make a third set, see how fast I could do it. Maybe I could make some flaps for somebody. I could be a quick build center. Look how quick I'm building. No. That's not worth it. It's a lot of time and not a lot of money. They can do it a lot cheaper in the Philippines, because why would bands use me when they can use the Philippines?
Okay, so there you have it. There's one flap with that nice straight trailing edge for us. Yeah. There's the other flap over here. All fresh and clean, no laser cut parts. And second time around, took us, what, 11, 12 minutes maybe to make them? Yeah, we'll call it that. See you next time.